What's up, guys? It's your girl Stacey Cake, your host for What's Hot, and today I am here with a trailer reaction for Zendaya's new movie Challengers. So this is trailer 2 I'm going to be watching. So make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, and comment for more. Let's get into it. Okay, glasses.
Tennis is about expressing yourself, doing your thing. So you don't know what tennis is.
What is it? Tashi Duncan, she's in another league. You were incredible today. To have a fashion line, foundation.
Seduction.
It's gonna turn a whole family into millionaires.
Sensual, sexy, erotic. Ooh, that wasn't sexy though.
What are you gonna do now?
Unfortunately, my only skill in life is hitting a ball with a racket.
I want you to be my coach. I want you to be my coach.
How often does this happen? Going after the same girl? Come here.
Which one of us?
Yo, this is giving messy. Messy.
This is a game about winning the points that matter. I don't need to play mind games with you. Come have a cigarette with me. I have to talk to you.
I don't smoke, and I'm not talking to you.
Intense sweat.
He's not in love with you.
What makes you think I want someone to be in love with me?
That's given like when Rihanna told them, who says I'm looking for a man. Do y'all remember that? Same energy.
Hey, I love you.
I know.
Alrighty, y'all. So let's get into it. So my first reaction, I'm gonna start with the storyline. So to me, I talked about this movie like last year. I already had heard it was coming out, looked at the synopsis. Very intriguing storyline from the time that I heard about it, especially seeing Zendaya play such a risque role in a romantic sense. So I was automatically interested in the storyline. Now that I have a visual for that storyline, I still think it's a very interesting concept and storyline. I'm wondering what's going to be the obstacle other than the obvious of her having to choose between two men, and her, having to train them. Like, what's going to be the center challenge here in the film, like what's going to lead to the climax and all of that. I'm very interested to see what that will be in the film. Make sure the camera's still on. Yes, there. Okay, yeah. So I'm very interested to see how it all boils up and what the point of the story is. That's what I'm trying to say. What is the gist? What is the premise of the story? Like, what is their purpose? What is the end goal of this story? Like, is it focused solely on the romance? Is it the tennis? Where do they intersect? That's number one. That's my biggest, like, kind of question, because I feel like I still don't have that answered from the preview. That brings me to my second point, which, now that I have the visual, casting. Let's talk about casting. So obviously Zendaya, love the role, love to see her expand her repertoire in such a role, but the casting for the guys, don't know these men. I haven't seen them in previous shows or movies. Not to say they haven't been, but I'm not familiar with them. But just visually, how do I put this nicely? Those are not the type of men I want to see around Zendaya. Like, Zendaya is like a beautiful woman. Like, she's that girl. So, like, they just don't do it for me in such a sexual movie, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, they aren't who I would see Zendaya in between. Like, not saying she has to have someone stereotypically fine, but like, they can be fine. Like, they just aren't hitting me from that angle of like a Prince Charming or like a romance role. You know, they're not doing it for me. Like, I feel like Book Talk knows what I'm talking about. Like, romance books fans, like steamy book fans, like when you're reading this type of book, like if you were to be reading this as a book, those wouldn't be the men that you would imagine. At least not me. You know, that's just not who I visually see. And I feel like appearance wise, they could have found two guys a little bit steamier if she gonna be having a little love triangle going on. You know what I mean? Like, they just don't give that energy for me in those roles. And that's not to say they aren't incredible actors, because at the end of the day, it is about talent. But when we're talking about a sensual, sexual movie, I want sensual and sexual vibes, and those two just aren't doing it for me. I'm gonna keep it 100. Now, that's my take on casting. Just the feel of the film, me looking at the trailer, I love that it's bright. Like, it's not a gloomy style film. It feels bright, it feels modern, it feels realistic. Like that scene where she actually gets the injury to her leg, it looked like real life. Like, I love the realistic feel. When I went to see the American Society of Magical Negroes, I love the scene where the guy and the girl, the main characters, were walking through the park. Like, it looked so realistic. It didn't look like super Hollywood, you know? And I love those type of vibes and aesthetics. And I felt like I kind of got that feel when I was looking at this trailer, and particularly in that scene when Zendaya's character injured herself while playing tennis. So so far I'm loving that. The wardrobe, chef's kiss, it's giving Zendaya a much more mature look, with the bob, the kind of like shoulder length hair in some of the scenes. Like, it's giving her more of like a grown woman look, because Zendaya looks very youthful, and there's nothing wrong with that. But in her playing adult roles, I feel like sometimes that look can kind of be like confusing to our brains. But hey, it's great for her, drinking from a fountain of youth. So no hate there by any means. But I think the hair, the bob, definitely did elevate and give her kind of that maturity kind of needed, I think, to play this type of role. That mature vibe that was kind of needed for this type of role. So I love kind of what they did with that. It's very sassy looking with the glasses. It was definitely, again, giving Rihanna's clip when she said, first of all, who said I'm looking for a man? Let's start there. That's the same vibe Zendaya is giving in this movie when he said, you know, he's not in love with you. She said, who said I'm looking for someone to be in love with me? Like, it's the same energy. If you know, you know. So I love that. I'm excited. I'm a Zendaya fan, so I'm maybe a little biased, but I am interested in the film anyway. So yeah, that's just my initial kind of take on the film. I don't know if it's gonna pull in a big crowd. I think if the crowd is pulled in, it's probably going to be because of Zendaya and people are just fans of her. I think the trailer, like, I would have, again, liked to have known what is going to be the central problem in the film. Is it just going to be between her choosing between two lovers? And if that's the case, I think they could have gotten a bigger reaction with different faces for her men that she's training for her love interest. And again, that's no shade to these actors, like, as far as like their talent is concerned in any way, but I just think when you have this type of like sensual, sexy, erotic type feel in the film, like, the characters have to give that audience that vibe, and I think that's what is going to ultimately hurt this movie. But I could be wrong. Let's see how the numbers do the first weekend. The film is coming out this month, April 2024, so make sure you guys check it out if you have not already by the time you're watching this. I'm going to be sure to check it out. Comment below if you want me to do a movie review for that film. I'm definitely going to go see it. So make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, and comment for more. See you guys next time.